Now, I don't know how good the signal is here, and you'll have to excuse me looking like a complete bag of crap today. It's been a long couple of days for me, but I'm not too worried about whether or not I've got masses of people on here watching live. That doesn't really bother me. But I wanted to do this because I cannot believe what I have read today. Right? I am absolutely... Seriously? Toni Tampon. First of all, you've spelt it with an I. I take that as a massive insult to my name, which is Toni, spelt with an I. And I'm sure people are going to be walking past her any minute now. Okay, they're going to be people walking past me thinking, what's she doing? Sitting there ranting to herself like a lunatic. So they've come out with this whole thing that they're now going to teach children about Toni the Tampon. Right? Toni the Tampon. And men that must menstruate. Let's get this very clear, can we? Can we please make this very clear? Men do not have periods. Period. They don't have them. They can't have them. Pretty sure they wouldn't want them. Pretty sure no man would want them. No man would ask for them. No man would wish for them. But you want to create a kid's book, a child's book called Toni the Tampon. Toni the Tampon, for an explanation to children on how men menstruate. Men don't menstruate. What part of a man can't have a period? Sorry, I've took my hair down and my head's really sore now. Men can't have periods, right? Period, can't have them, don't want them. They don't want them. Okay? I don't know any man alive in the world today that would say, do you know what? Bless me with periods. Bless me with periods. I want to have periods. They don't want them. And women like me, I wouldn't wish it on them. It's not nice, especially when you're a little girl. When you're a little girl and you start your first period, right? And let me tell you now, this is one scary experience, starting your period. The last thing that we want, actually, is a whole bloody book explaining how a man... Now, I've got friends who are transgender. Sorry, I'm sitting in my car. I'm actually very uncomfortable. And I've just cocked up because I've just driven all the way to the hospital to find out that my hospital appointment isn't today, it's tomorrow. But when I was a girl and I had my periods, I was embarrassed by it. So now you're going to have gender-neutral toilets and you're going to have a book saying that men have periods. Periods. Seriously. Seriously, tell me one man. Show me one man. One man with his meat and veg all in place that can bleed. Not only now are you trying to take away women can't call themselves expectant mothers, we've got to be gender neutral toilets, and this is another thing. I've been to the hospital today and I had to do a sample, because you know how you do. So another thing that, you know, we all have to do, none of us can like it, but we do it. And the toilet there, they have one toilet, one cubicle. The difference is when I go into that cubicle, I lock that door. Nobody's coming in there while I'm taking a pee. Gender neutral toilets. That's not what it means. That means anybody, right? So you go in, you could have a queue of men stood at the urinal taking a piddle, and I've got to walk past a group of men. I don't think men, want a group of women. Look, get us girls out on a night out into a nightclub. Get us in a nightclub with your gender-neutral toilets. See what happens. See how many girls run in, right, and giggle at the size of a man's penis and come out and tell everybody, oh, he's only got one this big. Watch and see how many people would do that. And anybody who thinks that wouldn't happen, mate, you're living in a cloud of fairyland. You're not living in the real world. Because they would. Right? I guarantee you. Do men really? I don't think they do. Do they really want to go into a toilet where you're going to have women standing there with their makeup, their lippy, and their eyeliner, and a bit of blusher, all taking up the mirror space, combing their hair, preening themselves, making sure they look their best, while you stand and take a Jimmy Riddle. No, I don't think men want that. Now, this is to placate and to appease the transgender community. But if you've had the operation, you've become a woman, you're going to go into the women's toilets, aren't you? Because if you've had surgery to become a woman, you're going to go into the women's toilets. So what you're talking about is people who claim to be transgender but don't want to get rid of the meat and two veg. That's what this is about. This is about a comment. Now, I'm not saying that it's not difficult for them to choose whether they go to the male toilets or the female toilets. If they go into the ladies' toilets and they look female, I don't think many women are going to go, you're not meant to be in here, because you look like a woman. So you're just going to go in, you're going to shut the door and you're going to do your business. Do you think in a nightclub that men want to stand and pee when there's a group of women there that will take the mickey out the sides of their manhood? Pretty sure most men don't want that, because as much as men claim to be a little bit cocksure, pardon the pun, a lot of men are actually very conscious, especially young men are very conscious about that part of their body, as are women about their bodies. Now, a friend of mine who works in my local shop said she went to Germany where they had these gender-neutral toilets. And she said, oh, maybe it's hot, it's warm today, you know. I think it's about 16 degrees. And she went in, she said you had to walk past the men stood at the urinals. You had to walk past them all to get to the cubicles where the ladies could go. It's absolutely beyond ridiculous. It's insane. And now you want to bring out a child's book. This is aimed at children, right? This is the indoctrination, again, of our children. And I've just seen the most beautiful little girl with her mum and dad, holding hands with her mum and dad. And she's got this beautiful pink bonnet on and pink outfit. She looked adorable. But, of course, these parents, you see, it's child abuse, isn't it? Because they picked pink to put her in, because she's a girl. And apparently she isn't old enough yet to pick her gender. Now, there are people out there. Like I said, I've got friends. I've got one friend who was my neighbour for many, many, many years, who has had surgery to become a woman. He's had everything down there taken away, as he puts it. He's got rid of the equipment. Okay? Now, if he goes out, he's going to go into the ladies' toilets. No big deal, because he's had the surgery. If you haven't had the surgery and you're dressed and you look female, I'm sure there's very few people, especially if you do look feminine, and that's the way you should be, very few people are going to question that. Very few people. But there is also, look, right now, when I go into the loos, and there's something else that these lefty, liberal, bleeding arseholes haven't thought about. When I go into the loos right now, okay, and I go into the ladies, I was in King's Cross yesterday. I wasn't working, just so you know. But I went to King's Cross yesterday. I was sitting in King's Cross, and I thought, oh, do you know, I really need to go for a wee. So I went, like you do, to the ladies. Now, upon going into the ladies, had a man followed me in to the ladies' toilets, actually followed me in, I would have got my phone out of my handbag and I would have rung the police and said, look, I'm sitting in the toilet at King's Cross and I've just been followed in by a man. I'm really genuinely concerned for myself here because there's no reason for him to be in it. I know, it's alerted me. Why have you followed me? Well, what reason have you got to follow me into the toilet? Gender-neutral toilets will take away that, because if you've got gender-neutral, everybody can walk in there. So anyone who is potentially going to commit a crime, be it male or female, you're taking away even the alarm that some people may feel. Even that. You're removing even that. You're just not giving them the opportunity to protect themselves at all. And this is your liberal, lefty, bullshit agenda, which is a crock of shit, quite frankly, an embarrassment to this country as a whole. If you have had the operation to become a woman, nobody's going to question you being in the ladies in the first place. If you've had an operation to become a man, nobody's going to question you being in the men's toilets anyway. So why do we need gender neutral? For what possible reason do we need gender neutral? But you're not content with that. You've written a book called, and I can't believe you've, Toni, seriously? T-O-N-I. Right? T-O-N-I. That's the female way of spelling the name Toni. And it's called Toni The Tampon. The book is to explain about how men have menstruations. No, you don't. Men do not have periods. Period. Not now. Not ever. And it's never going to happen. And even if you've had surgery to become a woman, you're still never going to have a period. And in a way, when you choose to become a woman, and it's a very difficult decision to make. As I said, my friend went through it. It was a very hard decision to make. And he went through a lot of counselling before he even thought about having surgery. But even though he had money of his own, it was paid for on the NHS. But he got the operation, and fair play to him. He's never going to have a period. And I've had conversations with him, and as I said to him, you're never going to get cervical cancer. I had cervical cancer. I had to have a total hysterectomy. You're never going to go through that. You're never going to have an ectopic pregnancy, where you get pregnant and the child gets caught in the fallopian tubes and you're forced to lose not only your child but one of your fallopian tubes. You're not going to go through any of that. You don't have a uterus. You don't have a womb. I don't care what anyone says. You can change to become a woman and use the ladies' toilets. No big deal. But let's stop making out that a woman who chooses to become a woman through surgical procedures and medication is by any stretch of the imagination that it equates to a woman who has earned womanhood, has earned this. And this whole gender neutral toilet thing, there is something that everybody's forgotten. Sorry, I'm freezing. I can see I'm freezing up a little bit. Got a sore throat as well. And here it is. So, they want to force gender neutral toilets on us, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that you've got mosques that have segregation. Segregated men and women. So what happens? What happens when a Muslim woman wants to go to the toilet and you've got gender neutral toilets? What do you think is going to happen then? You think Muslim men are going to let their women use a gender neutral toilet? No. No. So what will happen then? Will we have special Muslim toilets for Muslims only? Muslim women, Muslim men, trans neutral gender toilet. Take away rights of women. This is what pisses me off with the feminazi left. They're not feminists. A true feminist would stand up and say, do you know what? We do recognise there's transgender people. We recognise that it's a difficult struggle that they go through. But we will not have our rights as women stripped away from us. And that is exactly what you are doing. Bit by bit, piece by piece, you are dismantling everything that it means to be a woman. And you are putting men in a position where you expect them to become these namby-pamby, weak-ass, lily-livered, limp-wristed waste of oxygen, don't have what it takes to stand up and defend themselves in any way, shape, form, verbally or otherwise. No, they end up meeting a woman who's actually very strong. She bullies him and manipulates him and probably gets violent with him. Same as you don't hear the stats of the domestic violence against men. See, we raised our generations and the generations before were raised that men should not hit women. Rightly so. But by the same token, what we haven't done is told the girl who goes out and gets shit-faced at going out and punching the living daylights out of a man. I'm sorry, if you get into a man's face and you're punching him, don't then complain if he punched you back that it's some kind of domestic violence and that he's the bad guy. There are women in relationships that because their husbands were raised, don't hit women. Don't hit women. They have married women who belt the living daylights out of them. When I worked for victim support, I used to get asked to go and see some of these men. Now, yes, domestic violence numbers are higher when it's violence from men against women. But it does exist. Women are violent towards men. And you look at that liberal left. take a look at those women banging on about equality. They want to be able to go and batter the crap out of a man and then turn around and go, don't hit me, I'm a woman. Well, you ain't no feminist, love. You ain't no feminist. You are a Nazi. You're a fascist. You are the Nazi fascist, not me, and sure as hell not the people on my Facebook or the people on my Twitter. I cannot, but Toni Tampon, seriously, Toni the Tampon. No, not Toni the Tampon. It's more like, whoever you are, I'll give you a group name, we'll call you Toni the Moron. Or Eddie the Idiot. Gisela the Gutless. I don't care. Pick whatever name you like. But Toni the Tampon? Because men menstruate. No, they fucking don't. Nor would they want to. Nor would I wish it upon them. But I am not. See, I'm sitting here, and the reason I took my hair down for a reason. You see now, you see this? Right. I had it in plaits, so it looks a bit messy, okay? I've got a bit of lippy on. Got a bit of eyeliner on. Got my glasses on. I've even got my flory girly top on. Growing up as a little girl, I was a tomboy. I was a major tomboy. My hand-me-downs came from my brother.
Radio.
And I actually loved getting my brother's hand-me-downs. So I was always in a pair of dungarees. I was always in a pair of wellies. Or with a T-shirt on, slinging my leg over a horse that I really shouldn't have been riding because I didn't have any riding stuff. I was always climbing trees. I would go out and get a piece of wood, cut it into the shape of a gun, and play war. If these liberal left had been raising me, they would have made me a boy. But I'm not. Every ounce of me is all woman. And I did earn my stripes. I earned every stretch mark on my body, every scar from every surgery, including cervical cancer. I earned, including the bruises, the scars I've got on my breast from surgery. I earned my stripes as a woman. What you want to do, you liberal left, you want to give these people the rights of all women, and you want us to accept that they have periods when they don't have periods. You want us to accept that they were born women, but they weren't born women. They were born men or born women and chose to become the opposite sex. And whether it's because of a chemical imbalance, whether it's because of it being a mental illness, whether it's down to, I don't know what causes it. Right? And I have empathy for the fact that they're even in this situation. It can't be a nice situation to be in. But don't then turn around and tell me that I have to give up my identity as a woman. Don't call yourself an expectant mother. Well, I'll tell you now, I have a daughter. And when my daughter gets pregnant, I sure as hell will be calling her expectant mum. Because that moment when a doctor looks at you, first of all, and says, congratulations, you're an expectant mum. And that moment that you give birth and that child is laid on you and they say, congratulations, mummy. That is something that should not ever be taken away from any woman. And I don't care who that upsets. I don't care if the liberal left go off and cry like babies in their safe spaces with their snowflake generation friends. I don't care. I don't care. But how dare you sit there and go, we need to teach children. We're going to make a children's book. And that children's book is going to say that men have menstruation. What's a menstruation, mummy? Well, a menstruation, child, is when you have a period. What's a period, mummy? Well, that is when the ovaries create an egg. Yeah, but I have one, mummy, as a little boy. Yes, son, you will. No, you won't. You're not going to ovulate. You're not going to produce an egg. It's just not going to happen. So, take your Toni the Tampon and stuff it where the sun doesn't shine, because you don't have anywhere else to stuff it, right? Your Toni the Tampon doesn't have anywhere else to go. It's not going to go in a vagina that never bleeds. I'm sorry if that offends the transgender community. I'm not sorry for standing up for my sexual identity. Because just as you want to be recognised as trans women, you call yourself trans men and trans women, I don't title you that. You title yourselves trans this, trans that, trans this, trans that. See me? I don't need to title myself out anything. I am a woman. I was born female. I was a tomboy. I played rough and tumble with my brothers. Did all the things that people think you shouldn't do, right, as a little girl. And if this snowflake generation had been around me as a child, mate, they'd have whipped me down for surgery and stuck a penis on me against my fucking will. Because they would have felt that I was displaying the signs of a boy. But I flourished into a young, actually quite attractive at the time, not bad looking, had a decent figure. I went through fucking hell and back. And I've come out the other end and I'm still a woman. I am a powerful woman. I am a strong woman. I am not a snowflake generation woman. And all of you crybabies, seriously, get a grip. Toni the Tampon does not exist because no man will ever have a period. And a woman who has surgery to remove everything and a penis put in place, what use do you have for a tampon anyway? You've now got a penis. But no, let's force this onto our children. Let's force our children to, whether they like it or not. That little girl I saw looking beautiful with her pink bonnet, I ought to go up to her and say, excuse me, you do realise by dressing your daughter in pink, you're transphobic, aren't you? It's nonsense. Bullshit. And quite frankly, I've had enough of it. Run over. I'm going to go and grab a coffee at my favourite little coffee shop, which will really please a couple of my friends on here when they realise that I'm going to go and have a coffee and a baguette without them. I will apologise for my appearance. I know I look as rough as anything. I am very, 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 very tired. And it has been a really, really hard few months for me. Really hard. But please do. And the conference, please. Look, don't miss this opportunity. Okay? So many people messaged me after the last conference and said, when is the next one, Toni? I really want to go. Please pull your fingers out. Don't sit there being keyboard warriors. You're better than that. Don't sit there banging out your opinions on a keyboard when you can come to a conference and you can freely give an opinion. Get yourself along to them. Be a part of it. Be a part of something positive that stands up against injustice and wrong, but doesn't ignore the problem, addresses the problem. Doesn't just scream and shout and chant silly chants, but actually tries to do something about it. Be a part of it. So if you want to attend 9th of April, the Maria's Conference, if you want to know more about it, like I said, we're only asking for people to donate 10 quid towards the cost of the venue. Anybody else who wants to donate, please, I promise you now, every penny will go to that venue. I will be bringing up the slack of what's left to pay, and it's very, very difficult for me to do it. But I think these conferences are so important. It's so important we connect with people, and I think it's important you come along and you ask Baroness Cox about her parliamentary bill with regards to Sharia, so you can put any questions you've got and you get it from the horse's mouth, not second, third, fourth information from the media. It's an opportunity not to be missed, but don't miss it and then complain you didn't know about it, because I've told so many people about it. I keep putting it out there. If you want to know, if you're interested in attending, let me know. Let me know. Just inbox me a message. Like I said, minimum £10 donation. Anything else that's donated will be greatly appreciated. Anybody who wants to help me pay for the cost of that venue, it will be greatly appreciated. It's a lovely venue, and it's a very professionally run conference, so I do want it to go. It'll go without a hitch, and there are lots of people interested, but I would like to fill those few seats that are left. You know, I would like to fill it. I would like to see the room full. I really would. So please, 9th of April, don't forget it. And as for Toni the Tampon, this is Toni the Tiger signing out, and you can stuff your Toni the Tampon where the sun doesn't shine, because it ain't happening. All right, take care, stay safe, be good, bye bye.